The NPD group just released their findings for September 2018, and a lot of people, especially PlayStation fans, were looking forward to finally finding out exactly how well Marvel's Spider-Man did, and it didn't disappoint. In fact, a lot of people are going to be eating crow over this one, yours truly included. What's going on, guys? Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, back again with another video. And every single month I do this recap of what the NPD sales figures, hardware, software stuff is. I find it incredibly interesting, and like everybody else, I was wondering how well Spider-Man was going to do. I thought it wasn't going to beat out God of War, and I was completely wrong, but hey, I'm a man. I admit it when my predictions don't come true, and I'll gladly eat crow on this one, although I still feel God of War is a better game. But before we get into the software sales, which is, where the big story is, in my opinion, since a lot of games launched last month, here are the total numbers for September. The total was $1.3 billion, which is up 7% from last year. Hardware, however, was down 3%. It only pulled in $306 million, kind of surprising. PC and console software was $747 million, which is flat from last year. And accessories pulled in $323 million, which are up 43% from last year. So accessories, headsets, controllers, all that stuff seem to be a huge part of the market at this point in time. Every single month it's up tremendously from the year before. It must be the Fortnite effect. But you came here because you wanted to hear how well Spider-Man did, as well as Forza Horizon 4 and NBA 2K and Assassin's Creed and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Well, the king of the ball is Marvel's Spider-Man. And look at this slide that Matt Piscatella made on his Twitter. Make sure you follow him for all the great information regarding NPD and the sales and stuff. I'll have a link to his Twitter in the description. It's a record-setting performance from Insomniac. It is September's best-selling game. There is no doubt about that, in my opinion. The highest launch month dollar sales for any exclusive in PlayStation history. Wow. Basically, Spider-Man made more money than any game Sony has ever made themselves. And when I stress ever, so that's God of War, that's all four Uncharted's, that's Last of Us, that's Horizon Zero Dawn, that's Killzone, all the exclusives that you can think of in Sony's 25-year history or 20-year history, however long they've been around. Spider-Man destroyed that number, and it's really impressive considering God of War basically destroyed that number earlier in the year. They had two huge back-to-back hits, so it's incredibly impressive what Spider-Man and Insomniac were able to achieve here. But it doesn't stop there. Look at this. The 7th biggest all-time launch on PlayStation platforms. That's all PlayStation platforms. That's the PS1, the PS2, the PS3, the PS4, the PS Vita, the PSP. The 7th biggest launch. There's only 6 other games in the PlayStation's illustrious history that sold more in launch than Spider-Man. And I'm struggling to think of what they could be. It's got to be a combination of a couple Grand Theft Autos and a couple Call of Duties, as those are always the highest selling. Think about that. The list could literally be Grand Theft Auto 5, Grand Theft Auto 4, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare. It could just be those. It could be up there with those franchises. That's how huge this launch was for Spider-Man. And the launch month sales were 37% higher than all other Spider-Man game launch months combined. That is crazy, because there have been an absolute metric ton of Spider-Man games released over the course of time. And this is all the way dating back to 1995. That's not just this gen and last gen. You had 2 amazing Spider-Man games. There was like 10 Spider-Man games last gen, and this is going all the way back to 1995. Like, truly incredible. And already, after 1 month of sales, it is the 3rd best-selling game of 2018. It's like an incredibly impressive performance. There's really no other words to say how well this game did. Shut up all the haters. It's an incredible game, and you know exactly what Insomniac and Sony are going to do. They're going to be teaming up for Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation 5. How are they going to make it bigger and better than this one? Time will tell, but it's going to be a massive exclusive game, more than likely. I can't see it really coming to Xbox or Nintendo Switch, so more than likely it's going to be exclusive to the PlayStation 5, and that's going to move some consoles. And we'll get into the hardware because people really did pick up the PlayStation to play Spider-Man. Now, Microsoft also had an exclusive launch in the reporting period, and that was Forza Horizon 4. And as you can see here from the slide, it is the highest launch month sales for the Forza franchise. Now, keep in mind, the data for this is from like September 2nd to October 6th, so it was like 1 week of sales of the Ultimate Edition combined with the actual launch on October 2nd. And this game is also an Xbox Game Pass, but those numbers for Game Pass aren't included in this. It's just like full game downloads and retail purchases, so this makes this number even more impressive. The fact that basically in a week it had the highest launch month sales for the Forza franchise. It's the best-selling launch for any Forza game in history, stretching all the way back to the OG era. Think about that. Forza Motorsport 1 through 7 and the first 3 Forza Horizon games. And this game's in Game Pass where people could pay $10 to have access to it. It is the highest launch sales for a racing game on any platform in history. The OG Xbox, the 360, and the Xbox One. Think about that. All those racing games that came out, and it was the highest launch sales for a racing game ever. And it was the 7th best-selling game in September in the United States. So keep in mind, this is all just the United States. This isn't worldwide. This is the NPD group. Digital and all that stuff is included. I go over that every single month, but I need to reiterate it because some people still don't learn. Now, of course, NBA 2K19 also came out, and Spider-Man beat out that, so that's pretty goddamn impressive considering NBA 2K19 is a huge multi-plat. And it debuts as the 2nd best-selling game of September and becomes the 5th best-selling game of 2018, and it achieved the highest launch month's dollar sales of any sports genre game released since the NPD group started tracking back in 1995. And it represents the biggest launch of any game in the 2K franchise, NBA 2K franchise, and is now the best-selling sports game of 2018 year-to-date. That franchise just doesn't stop, despite all the complaining about microtransactions and, you know, what they did to that. People still buy NBA 2K19 every single year, more than the year before. It's pretty crazy. So when you think about like how much the hardcores complain about microtransactions, it seems like the casuals who play 2K every single year to make it the one of the biggest selling games don't care about that, because if they did, they wouldn't play it. So NBA doing incredibly well. And I just finished Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I have a review coming on Thursday, so I was interested to see how it performed, and it did well. Assassin's Creed Odyssey appears number 3. Basically, it has only a few days of release data in the information, as it came out October 2nd early, and then it launched on the 5th, and this data goes to like the 6th. So the fact that it's number 3 is incredibly impressive. It had a double-digit percentage dollars sales growth when compared to Assassin's Creed Origins a year ago, and it now ranks as the 6th best-selling game over the past 12 months, which is pretty damn impressive. I know I say impressive a lot because everything about this month was impressive to me. FIFA 19 has the biggest opening since FIFA 16 and launches number 4 on the September charts with higher launch month dollar sales than any release in the franchise since FIFA 16, so obviously 17 and 18, and the 3rd highest launch month dollar sales for any soccer game in history. And then we come to Shadow of the Tomb Raider, a game that I really enjoyed, gave an 8 out of 10. We all heard the rumors about how maybe didn't sell very well, so it came in at number 5, and it achieved the 2nd highest launch month dollar sales for the franchise, following only Tomb Raider, which came out in 2013. So it did better than Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is to be expected because that only launched on Xbox as an exclusive back in 2015, I believe it was. So it seems to be doing okay. I know it just went on sale on Steam and got review bombed because people weren't expecting the game to drop price so quickly, and that led to speculation that it wasn't selling very well. And it is 5th So, but it is behind Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which launched later in the month, and it's barely above Forza. And, you know, I mean, it seems like it's doing okay, but these aren't really hard unit sales, they're dollar sales. And then if we have a look at the top 20 games here, you have Spider-Man 1, NBA 2K19, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, FIFA 19, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Madden, Forza Horizon 4, Destiny 2, Super Mario Party, NHL, Dragon Quest XI, WWE, Grand Theft Auto 5, Mario Kart 8, Naruto, Rainbow Six Siege, Crash Bandicoot, Super Mario Odyssey, Legend of Zelda, and Minecraft round out the top 20. Now on to the hardwares. No surprise, PlayStation 4 was number one after all. Spider-Man was setting records, and it did have a bundle. PlayStation 4 was September's best-selling hardware platform in both units and dollars sold. PlayStation 4 hardware achieved the highest September unit sell-through for a non-plug-and-play console since the PS4 in 2014. So basically, PlayStation 4 had its best sales month for September in the last 4 years, and better than any Microsoft Xbox thing in the last 4 years or Nintendo. Sony's PlayStation 4 is still the best-selling console hardware platform year to date, and the PS4 Slim 1TB bundle was the best-selling hardware item in both dollars and units. And Xbox One is, well, there's a leaked rumor saying that it was down year on year. We don't really get any clarification on unit sales for Xbox One, but Matt Piscatella says that hardware dollar sales in September grew more than 30% when compared to September last year, and now more up 60% year over year, and that the Xbox One S System 1TB Black is the best-selling Xbox One hardware item of the year in both terms of dollars and units sold, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. Now, what that post isn't saying is that the Xbox One has outsold the Xbox One S. It's just that the Xbox One X SKU is the highest selling, because the way NPD tracks their data is each SKU is, added up and then tallied together. So there are a ton of Xbox One S SKUs out there. So while the Xbox One X one is the highest selling of them all, when you add up all the SKUs of the S, it outsells, the Xbox One X version. But obviously, it's going to have more revenue compared to a year ago. There was no Xbox One X $500 system in September of last year, so it only makes sense that the revenue is up significantly over last year. I'm just kind of curious to see what the unit sales down. Was it down a little percentage? Was it up? We got no clarification yet on any of that front. And accessories are up pretty high as well. So we take a look here at the rankings for year to date, because this is the other thing I find pretty interesting. And Far Cry 5 is still the best-selling game of the year. And then it's God of War, Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, NBA 2K19, Madden 19, Grand Theft Auto 5, Call of Duty World War II, Dragon Ball FighterZ, and Mario Kart 8. So that is your NPD results for the month. All around, really good figures from a lot of games. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Share it out with your friends on social media. Hit the bell icon, the notifications, if you want to be always notified. And let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And I will see everybody in the next video. Later, guys.